Hey guys, good morning or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching this video, I suspect that uh, you're going through something, or you know somebody that's going through something like this where they just can't get over their ex and they still have feelings after 1 year, 2 years, 6 months, and they really don't know where to go because they feel trapped with their feelings. They're frustrated. They can't date other people, and it's leaving their life kind of not a mess, but kind of an emotional roller coaster. And I wanted to clarify some things that can help people out in this situation. I was talking to somebody the other day about this, and I think that a lot of people deserve to know some steps that they can take to move beyond these emotions, to understand them, and to learn from them. So I'm going to go right into it. First thing I have for you guys is identifying why you're still attached, okay? And this is really big because some people don't understand their relationships towards the opposite sex. Some people are taught based off of, their upbringing, and by seeing people as they grow and, from a kid's age, like from what they view as their parents, like how their parents were. We get to understand a healthy versus unhealthy way of going about relationships and dating and attaching to people, right? And odds are, if you're somebody who likes to revel, it's just really hard and complicated to get over somebody, you have to kind of start with how you perceive the opposite sex in terms of relationships. Why are you attached? Is it codependency? Is it just an unhealthy attachment where you're attracted to a toxic relationship? You have a perception of what a relationship looks like, and you haven't really understood consciously what that looks like. For example, the girl I was talking to the other day had a very toxic perception of a relationship. It's something that she wanted, and it's something that she really couldn't help because of how she was raised and how she came about knowing what relationships are. So that's where kind of therapy would probably be best, to kind of understand and identify bad behaviors and bad ways of seeing relationships, or seeing how relationships should function. So the next one I got for you is, so anyway, identify why you're still attached. Ask yourself, is it healthy for you to stay how you feel, right? Is it healthy for you to remain attached to this person, to have all these feelings for them? Maybe he or she just have been a really crappy person towards you, and that's something that apparently encourages you. This could be like a value issue. This could be like a self-esteem, confidence, value issue, a self-worth issue, where you're looking for somebody to give you that value, to give you that encouragement, versus getting it from within. I think that's really common. So I would ask yourself, is it healthy, like, for you to like this person? Is it, are you getting something from them that you should be getting from yourself? You're the one who should be the person who doesn't need, relationships and being with people is really secondary to your own happiness, fulfillment, and confidence. You should be happy and be able to function without somebody. And if you can't, maybe you should stay single for a really long time and kind of figure that out. And definitely talk about this with others and get people's feedback on this. But yeah, ask yourself if it's healthy for you to have these feelings or not. If they're warranted. If they're not, and you left a really toxic situation, then you should come to some kind of realization at that point. We'll save that one for later. Recognize why it doesn't work, right? It may help you to realize why it hasn't worked. Maybe you've tried getting back together 1,000 times, and it's still not working. So you kind of have to ask yourself, why is that? Like, why do you guys have this pattern of just not working? Sometimes it's just something you can't get past. Maybe it's about values. Maybe it's about preferences, or something, like you guys just can't move closer to each other, or careers, or just life decisions. Things happen, And sometimes in life we repeat the same things because we haven't learned from them yet. And that's a really big one for this. So recognize why it doesn't work. It may help you in understanding what's going on, why you haven't, moved on. Because maybe you still think there's, maybe you just think, oh, well, if we just got over this, but, maybe that thing is just really big for the other person and it's big for you and you can't budge because it's, you both have tried to get to one another and make a connection and agree, but you can't, so sometimes that just happens. Write a list of what would make you happy in a relationship and in general. I think this is really big. I think you need to really actually sit down, write a list of what makes you happy and kind of go through it. And then also write down like what your ideal relationship would look like. What is, are you guys hugging? Are you guys cuddling a lot? Is the other person, it normally, you got to be very descriptive about these things, because once you do, it's like you'll be able to point out more easily someone who's able to fulfill these things. And not only that, but in terms of helping you get over the person, if your ideal relationship isn't anywhere close to what you had with this person, then it might be more clear and obvious why it didn't work. It's because your needs weren't being met, and this person maybe isn't capable of fulfilling your needs, right? And at the end of the day, you have to remember that we're always just trying to do our best. Everybody is just doing their best because that's where they are currently in the moment. So that's something to think about. Another thing is review the effort exchange, right? This is just another thing to consider. If the person wasn't if it wasn't a 50-50 and you're the person giving and you're the person doing everything, and you're wondering why you're not together, odds are you're in a relationship where you're not self-realizing your own value. You're not you're not doing yourself justice by saying, hey, I'm doing so much, and this is, it's about not like levels of effort, but levels of commitment as well, and levels of wanting the other person. Somebody who just loves you just for you will just regardless go out of their way, regardless of fights or whatever, and be there for you, support you, and do things for you, because that's just how they do things, and that's how it should be. But if they don't, and if you don't see effort, it's a sign that they're just taking advantage of you in the relationship, and you're more in limbo than you think. And you deserve to be with somebody that does give to you in their own way. And if they try to bridge the gap, if they try to give to you, maybe it's not in the most ideal way, right? Because nothing's going to be the fairy tale. But if they try to give to you, then you got to appreciate that, right? But if they're not doing it to a decent level of effort, then you have to kind of ask yourself that question. This is a really important one. This one kind of goes back to the other one I was talking about. Ask friends and family not what they think of you two together when you were together, but ask friends and family about this person specifically, right? What they think of them, and ask your friends and family what they think makes you happy. And I think this is really huge, because sometimes we forget to ask the hard questions to people that see the situation outside of you, right? And so asking friends and family who know you, you might be surprised on what they say. They might tell you, oh wow, I didn't like this guy anyway. Or if you find out that so many people don't like this person, right? That may open your eyes to like saying, wait a minute, if all these people I respect and appreciate don't like this person, then why are they saying these things? And why am I signing on to this person? And more importantly, if you ask yourself, on top of that, self-identifying your happiness stuff, if you ask your friends and family, hey, what do you think makes me happy? Just curious. They might give you a lot of really cool answers. They might know you better than you think. They might say, oh, well, you're like this, and I think you're more suited for somebody like that. You need this in your life, and that guy wasn't giving it to you. Sometimes it's hard to recognize what you need and desire, because sometimes we just don't have the clarity or intuition to figure it out. So it's not a bad idea to ask for help or to ask for feedback. It's always great to ask for feedback outside of yourself. And I think one of the most important things is seeking clarity with your ex, right? Actually talking to your ex about why it's not working, if they're open to a conversation. You know, it should be okay 2 years later. There really shouldn't be something weird. You should be able to talk and reach out to your ex and say, hey, like, I'm still not over you. Can we just have a conversation for me? You know, in terms of like, you know, just getting clarity and closure, or just questions. You know, if your ex really cared about you, they would be open to a dialogue where they're helping you synthesize a breakup. I think most breakups aren't structured the way that they should. I think that when people break up, there should be a detachment stage where you don't just fully break up and separate. There's like a slow detaching and separating, and the ex person is there for you in support of the separation. And they make it okay. They answer any questions. They're there to support you through that process, because it's a very traumatizing process if the other person still really cared, and odds are one of the people usually do. So seek clarity with the ex in a you know, in a benefiting way. Just make it seem like, hey, like, I really want to move on. I want to date other people, or just say like, hey, like, you know, I'm still not over you. Can we talk about it, right? And talk about, you know, in a very hopefully diplomatic way. You know, what's going on with you? What's going on with them? Why you guys made these decisions, right? And it's important to realize you guys broke up ultimately for a reason. It wasn't working at a basic functional level, right? Somewhere, you know, there needed to be change, and there wasn't. So it's important to acknowledge that, you know, once a relationship ends, it's like dancing, and then the dance ends. You know, once the dance ends, it can't really go back to the same dance. There's a different rhythm that you both have, both separating from each other. And the last piece of advice I would give you guys, if you're trying to get over your ex, start dating. Obviously, you may not enjoy it. You may still feel attached to your ex, but what's really important is understanding what else is out there so that you can compare to your old situation. Even if you don't do it seriously, it's important to see other guys and women, right? Once you do all the above and acknowledging what makes you happy, acknowledging all these different things, seeing other people will kind of help you give clarity to like what other people are like around you, what they give to you. Um, and it may kind of awaken intuitions about what you need. You know, it's not all about just moving on and dating other people. It's really about getting your value back, getting your confidence back. It's about exploring your, you know, what makes you happy. It's about exploring, you know, the values that you have, and getting that matched up with somebody. Maybe meeting other people that are healthy will trigger something in you that says, "Wow, I can't believe I was with this emotional wreck of a person," or, you know what I mean? You might get insights from just seeing and dating other people, different perspectives, different inputs. So I think that's really important. Getting back out there is really important. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope this helped somebody out there. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I would greatly appreciate if you guys subscribe. We got tons of other content on here. And again, if you want to see a video, just ask. Right, you know, put a comment down here and say, hey, I'd like to see you do a video on this, and I'll gladly do one. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.